It is 6 a.m. and we are live on WHAS11 and WHAS11 Plus. Grace, Jim, Matt as well in studio, Gabe as well. We're going to get to all of them in a little bit. Gabe, of course, talking about the bourbon industry and the new impact on that with those retaliatory tariffs, and Matt talking about our favorite forecast so far, I think.
Which, Matt, has been so calm for you this week, but really fantastic for all of us.
It certainly has. You know, fantastic false fall is what we can go with. As we head throughout the rest of our morning, it is still going to be very crisp and very cool. Our temperatures right now into the upper 50s, waiting on sunrise to happen, courtesy of our U of L Health Sky Camera facing downtown, looking over the Ohio River. A nice, comfortable start to our day. It's still going to be like this as we continue throughout those morning hours. Those winds continue to stay out of the north, bringing in those dry conditions with winds. Still bringing in a steady dry pattern for us with temperatures in the upper 40s near Scottsburg, 48 Bedford, 43 for you folks near Brandenburg. Certainly a cooler start for you folks there. As we get ready for school time this morning, temperatures will be in those upper 50s, a few passing clouds. Later this afternoon, we're warming up close to the 80-degree mark with just a few of those passing clouds, likely hovering around in our skies, but we will continue to stay dry. We're not tracking any incoming rain showers or any incoming clouds for the morning hours. As I mentioned, those will be arriving later this afternoon. So a clear, quiet start to our Wednesday morning. We'll have more weather details coming up in a few short minutes. Here's a look at traffic so far this morning. We do have a crash that occurred a few moments ago, and that's going to be on the Waterson. We've got one lane blocked, and also the right-hand shoulder is blocked due to that stalled vehicle. Looks like they've now got that cleared out, but we do still have a few slow spots on I-65 northbound. Keep that in mind as you get your day started. Jim, Grace?
All right, Matt, thank you. Right now, more than 500 dogs and cats at LMAS need a home, and with your help, we can change that.
That's why today, from 5 a.m. all the way through to 7 p.m., we're going to be hosting a special LMAS Telethon event. Let's go ahead and take you live over across the hall to Studio H, where the phone banks are open. We have volunteers there waiting to take your calls so you can donate to help out the good people out at LMAS and all the dogs and cats that they serve.
So grab your phone and let's make a difference together. Just scan the QR code on your screen now or call the number 502-582-7227 to donate. We're taking calls and donations until 7 tonight.
It was quite a sight to behold yesterday along the Waterson Expressway, and that's exactly what it looked like. Little pools of smoke coming out of the ground as the dirt moved with each explosion from road crews. And what you'll see there, not a car to be seen on those roadways. It's all part of some rolling road closures that you can expect to continue as work near the new VA hospital continues as well. Joe Lilly, a longtime nearby employee, spoke with us yesterday, told us that this whole construction area has been a mess.
The fact is, everybody's going to have an impact. We've had an impact. I know the restaurants have been hit pretty hard because if you've got heavy-duty traffic in the morning and afternoon and schools nearby, it's not necessarily a pleasant experience.
Now, KYTC has sent letters out to residents and businesses within 500 feet of the blast site with information on how to schedule building inspections if they feel they need that. This follows, of course, a situation back in October of 2022 when blasting near the VA hospital sent rocks flying onto the roadway and into nearby homes. Now, KYTC has said that you can expect some of these traffic disruptions for the next little bit. I mean, this first phase of the project is not expected to be finished until January of 2026. The whole widening and reconstruction of that intersection not going to be finished up until the fall of 2027.
In other news this morning, Cigna Healthcare is ending its contract with Norton. Norton says it tried to reach an agreement with Cigna but couldn't. Norton says it'll still accept patients with Cigna coverage, but their care will now be considered out of network. The companies say they're working together on next steps for patients who are currently getting oncology, pediatric, and prenatal care. The contract ends September 8th. If you have questions, you can call Cigna at the number on your screen. It's 800-997-1654.
Today, we could find out the results of a union vote down the Blue Oval SK plant in Hardin County. That voting is set to end tonight. The Glendale-based plant makes batteries to power the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning pickup truck. Voting started yesterday at 5 a.m. and it's set to run through 8 o'clock tonight. Employees in support of unionizing say without a union, their job security, their contracts, health and safety, it's all completely in Blue Oval's hands. Meanwhile, Blue Oval says that those employees are free to turn their voice over to a labor union if they so choose. Giving the gift of life even through death. 51-year-old Raywick firefighter Brian Hatt died after a tragic crash on Friday.
Hatt had decided to donate all of his organs, which could save many more lives down the line. WHAS11's Alex Dieterer was at the hospital for his somber final walk.
Chris, attention.
An honor walk for Raywick firefighter Brian J. Hatt.
This honor walk is not taken lightly.
On his way to donate his organs, the final sacrifice for a man who lived his life for others.
Brian was family. Brian was a friend. Brian was a father.
He was a lover, would do anything to help anybody, and didn't want anything in return.
His son, Austin Henshaw, and other family members follow close behind.
Dad would be proud.
Firefighters from multiple Kentucky agencies who are more like family line the halls of University Hospital to pay their respects for one of their own.
We are honoring this walk not only just for Brian himself, but for the family.
A solemn reminder of the sacrifice firefighters make every day.
It hasn't felt like reality.
Brian dedicated 12 years of his life to the Army and another 12 years to the fire department before he lost his life after his tanker truck overturned Friday night. Brian and his fellow firefighter Leonard Winkler were responding to help with the call in nearby Loretto. We learned on Tuesday that Brian died, while Leonard continues his recovery. 2 days after the tragic accident, the small town of Raywick, Kentucky came together in prayer.
So Raywick is not just a small town. Raywick is family. And in this community, family is everything.
Back on the 9th floor of U of L Hospital, the prayers continue.
You know, it's definitely a blessing.
Surrounded by family, some close relatives.
He might be gone from us, but his memory will live on forever.
And others by choice.
We are asking our communities to continue Brian's legacy and answer the call as Brian would for others.
His legacy will live on with the gift of life. Alex Dieterer, WHAS 11 on your side.
6:09 now, and in Sonora, Kentucky, the flashing red and white lights associated with firefighters heading to an emergency are getting an upgrade. Fire Chief Robert Wethington says these halogen lights on the department's 2 fire engines are outdated. The trucks date back to the early 1990s. Wethington took a shot in the dark by applying for a grant, hoping to get more funding outside the department.
We received a $10,000 grant from State Farm. The grant was limited to 2,000 applicants, and we were one of 150 departments, and there was only 3 in the state that received this grant.
Wethington says there are about 400 Kentuckians who call the rural town of Sonora home. The department responds to about 150 emergency calls a year. U.S. trade is marking a major win as Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney rolls back several retaliatory tariffs. Perhaps most importantly for Kentucky, tariffs on bourbon.
That's right. The Prime Minister said the government will reduce key tariffs on U.S. imports, and that does include Kentucky's signature spirit, that coming back down to 0. Gabe Gonzalez joins us now with how people in the bourbon industry are reacting to all of this news. Good morning, Gabe.
Hey, good morning, Jim and Grace. Eric Gregory, the president of Kentucky Distillers Association, said this is the first step toward getting bourbon back on Canadian shelves. The 25% tariffs were originally imposed during a trade dispute under the previous Canadian administration. Since then, Kentucky distillers have seen a steep drop in exports to Canada and leaving products off of store shelves. Gregory told WHAS 11 they send about $100 million worth of spirits to Canada per year. He's excited to see those numbers return thanks to this deal.
We're very pleased that leaders in Alberta and Saskatchewan have restored American alcohol, especially Kentucky bourbon, to the shelves. And now we're just hopeful that other provinces will follow suit. Minister Carney's announcement is a really good first step because we've had a situation where we've had an unbalanced trade.
Kentucky is home to 95% of the world's bourbon supply. Right now, the average U.S. tariff rate on Canadian goods is 5.6% and remains the lowest among all its trading partners. Earlier this month, we talked with a master blender from Pursuit Spirits. He said his sales were down. We'll tell you how much and how this new deal could boost those sales.